Okay, hi Nitin.
Hi.
Hi, this is Syed Muhyiddin. I work as a senior network engineer with Metmark Software Solutions, which is a cybersecurity firm. And I'm looking forward to know more about SD-WAN as it's the latest technology, of course. Apart from that, I'm just curious to how people are implementing and how they are migrating and how they are merging with non-SD-WAN type of environment so that in the future, if any case arise, then I also want to be a part of the SD-WAN, which is why I'm very curious to learn this emerging technology.
So implementation and how SD-WAN talks with non-SD-WAN legacy network.
Exactly.
Okay, thanks. And you want me? You're okay with Hindi or English?
Yeah, I'm okay with both of them, but English would be
Okay.
better because the scenarios, what we have to say others and explain others, so English would be better. But I'm okay with Hindi only.
Cool.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sayed. Ranjit.
Hi.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, you can go ahead.
Okay. So what do you do? Where are you from? And what are you expecting out of it?
Yeah, I'm working in UAE. So I have 7 years experience in this field networking. So currently I'm doing network security mostly.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Rahul.
Yes, sir.
So tell me about you, man.
Sir, I'm working as an assistant network administrator, and I'm very interested in to learn about SD-WAN. I joined the class.
Okay. Cool. Manoj.
Yes, sir. Nothing much there are. I'm working job currently actively. So I just want to know about apply
Okay. Ranjit, put yourself on mute. So as Manoj. Thank you. Kiran Kumar Wagli.
Yeah, I have 5 years experience and new technologies coming day by day. So SD-WAN is one of them. So I want to know the new concept and how it's work and how organization is implementing it. I
Okay.
need to know that, grab the knowledge.
Okay. Cool. Rashmi. Okay, we'll come back to her later. Vivek Kumar.
Hi Nitin, it's Vivek here. I am working as a network engineer in Wipro Limited, having 1.5 years of experience. Several times I have heard this term SD-WAN. That's why I have joined this session to know about what is it and how it works.
Okay. Cool. Great. Praveen.
Hi again. Yeah, Praveen here from Goa. I've been in the network domain like last 3 years, working as a senior network engineer in E-Dot Solutions, cyber like cybersecurity expert. So wanted to know about like how this SD-WAN works. We are thinking to revamp our technologies and come on SD-WAN. So this was a better session for me.
Cool. Thanks, Praveen. Rashmi.
Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Rashmi. I'm working as a network engineer from past 3 years. I just want to learn SD-WAN, so I joined this.
Okay, and where you work?
In Wipro.
Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. Let's put yourself on mute. Manish addressed that. Manish asked for another 5 minutes, so we'll start by 11:15. In the meantime, I'll just get my paint ready. So, Manish, are you recording the session? And I'll not start. I'll just say what I'm going
Yes,
to do.
yes,
That's all.
yes.
Cool. Okay, so guys, I will start the actual session by 11:15 as requested by Manish. But what I'm going to cover in this session is predominantly a very high level view about what is SD-WAN and why we need it, implementation that needs I mean that needs that can be taken care of in later because this is something x86 environment. So first you need to understand what is x86 environment or white box environment and why why the need of SD-WAN has been emerged and why everyone is just talking SD-WAN, SD-WAN. It's like a puppet or a parrot or maybe it's the next boom thing in the market. What is it? So we'll predominantly focus what is it today and I will try and cover how it connects with non-SD-WAN or the legacy network. I think it would be pretty much easy. Those who understand IP network, they can easily understand those things. So let's just wait for another 4 minutes.
Sure. So
And
Nitin,
we'll take it.
Nitin, could you please tell us about yourself?
Yeah, so my name is Nitin and I have enjoyed working on a couple of vendors. I'm working for another vendor. Currently it's acquired by HPE, so I work for Zero Peak and I've worked on a couple of other SD-WAN products like Cisco. I've worked on Versa. I've did my hands on Viptela as well, and this one VMware's product. So I'm just gonna give you what exactly the SD-WAN is all about. So let's see. And yeah, I will share my screen to show you my lab and let's see how does it works out for you. Okay?
Right. We can start the session now. No problem.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay. How do I share my screen? Screen 2. Let me know when you can see my screen, guys. Can you see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes, is it visible?
Cool. Okay. I don't have a pen, but I try as neat as I can. Okay. So what is SD-WAN network? If I need to give you a technical answer, it's just an OVA spinned up on a hypervisor, which has basic minimal certificates to bring up certain services to make that particular instance use it for commercial or for educational purpose. Ranjit, please put yourself on mute. Thanks. So
Nitin,
yeah. So this is when I say SD-WAN, whatever I've just mentioned in like 2 lines, this is the bare minimum understanding or the easiest definition I could say it in few words. Now coming to the need of SD-WAN, obviously the first and foremost need is predominantly looking at one thing: cost. Let's say I'm Cisco for a minute, just to give you some understanding why it is cost. So when I sell my product to someone, what do I sell actually? 2 things: hardware and a license, right? So hardware has come up with its own contract, with its own shell life, and then software. When I say software, which means there is a by default a basic software which comes up as an pre-approved with a pre-approved license. But let's say I'm running ASR 1K, it needs an NAT license, it needs an IPsec license. So you have to buy that license, but that's again a cost. So technically, if I'm selling someone if someone needs an ASR 1K and he needs to perform NAT and IPsec, he got to pay for two things to me: for the hardware, for the license. Here in this SD-WAN, you are paying for one particular thing, which is just the license for the software. It's optional for you to take a hardware, which is an x86 box. It's not something which has been given by the product vendor itself, or as in, let's say, maybe Silver Peak, or it's could be Versa, it could be Viptela, anything. You can take a product or hardware from them. You as a customer can run the same application or software on an x86 EXSI or Hyper-V environment. When I use these jargons, which means you can emulate them. So I am presuming that everyone knows about what is Hyper-V, what is EXSI, and what is network emulation or network virtualization. Now, let's go back to the other aspect. So once you're done with the cost, what else you can speak about? What else you can think about the need of SD-WAN? Anyone? Quickly, 30 seconds. What else you can do to save cost? Guys, I'm asking you a question.
By using SD-WAN, as per my belief and understanding, we can create a software-defined way of doing networking in my network, so that I save cost in various ways. I would not require any other features or licenses to buy, as you have mentioned already. So a single device through a single device, by just understanding my whole network and defining it by through a software. That is what my mind when I heard about
So
SD-WAN.
this is one element of cost. What is the other point where you can save the money, or
So
where?
yeah, so SD-WAN can act as overlay and overlay transport in WAN networks. So it makes us utilize even LTE or 4G network all the
Somewhat correct. Any other one? Any other answer from someone? Okay, I don't know who's talking. Their network is pathetic. Okay, so Hari did put up a small point, which is right. However, Hari, to add up to your point, that's basically done by VXLAN. That's the overlay which you're talking about. But what we missed on is the cost of the circuits. Everyone, whosoever is running their network, they have to pay for the circuits. And if we go back in the last 5 years, what do we have? We have lease lines with us. We have B2C lines with us. In different words, we have MPLS lines and internet lines. Agreed? So obviously an MPLS line would come up with a certain SLAs or certain acceptable parameters, or certain agreed parameters, or commitments, which again comes up with a cost. For example, I took in my previous organization, we bought a lease line. So just a 5 Mbps lease line. I was paying 78K per month, 78,000 rupees per month. So it's an MPLS line. It's a cost. It comes along with certain aspects. Certain needs. So if you look at on the simple B2C line, which is an internet line, you can pay 5. You can start. You can get that 5 Mbps achieved from 200 rupees to 1,000 rupees per month. Trust access, of course.
all over the
So
world.
yes, isn't that a cost saving? Guys, what do you think?
Yes, Nitin, of course.
Okay, now what is VXLAN? VXLAN means whatever the underlying infrastructure you have already created, that will be used as an underlying platform for the appliances or for the softwares on the sites acting as a CE to communicate with each other or with the legacy network through some other means. So this is a little bit, what do you call it, cherry on cake for the SD-WAN. Now let's just talk about types of SD-WAN. So people say it's an x86 or it's an open standard structure, but whatsoever the brand you're using, whatsoever the brand you know about who's offering an SD-WAN service, everything is proprietary. Everything is defined by their own way, by the vendor's own way for a software to be worked upon. I would call it, it's not a definition, it's my definition rather. I would call it a two-tier architecture or a three-tier architecture. So when I say an architecture, what is it? So you have an orchestrator or a master, what do you call that, supervisor or a master brain, where you have all the scripts or templates where you put in a delta. When I say delta, which means what do you want to achieve out of a config, out of a particular site. I should rather start it in this way. In order to bring up one site, what you need to do, what you need is you need either a virtualized environment as a VM acting as a CE for you, or a hardware acting as a CE for you, power, space, connectivity, which means the circuits, as in either the internet circuit or the MPLS circuit. Agreed? Apart from that, you need a set of configurations which needs to be pushed onto that box, and post that a certain behavior is expected out of that site or that box or a CE. So when you talk about an orchestrator is a central governance body or an infrastructure or a device. Basically, it's kind of this is the one with which you create a management plane, and you create a data plane, and through the data plane, control plane, it gets created on the last mile. When I say last mile, consider it as a VM running or a white box running in a software on it, or you call it as a CE, come what may it is. So this is one appliance, one a device in the whole SD-WAN fabric. When I say two-tier architecture, it would be something like this. So this box is placed maybe in an ISP or an enterprise be OSS or BSS zone, or maybe a secured zone or an internal zone, which has a reachability or routing or can communicate with the appliances. When I say appliance, it's a CE, as in customer premises edge or CPE, whatever you call it. So let's say this is X as my CPE, and there is another site which is Y. Let's say Delhi, and let's say Bangalore. Okay, so in legacy or in earlier days, what we needed to get them speak with each other is a private lease line through a service provider. And if you have multiple service provider, you will you'll use a career grade services offered by the service provider, which again comes up with a cost. And if you have an internet line and you get a private public addresses, then you can bring up certain tunnels, maybe GRE tunnel or IP to make them speak as one-to-one. But if you have many, then maybe again comes up with you have to have an IPsec license or a cost again comes up over here from the software standpoint. Now, so two-tier architecture is something that there is a single plane or a management entity through which you will govern all the appliances, be it a Delhi side or Bangalore side or Chennai side or Mumbai side. You through this using, you can use Reachability, you can use a script structure, you can use any, you can govern, monitor all the activities through through the you call in and with Tela you again have a technical jargon. So again, they have a control plane just like an orchestrator, where you have the UI and then you govern everything onto it. Now, three-tier architecture. Before three-tier architecture, I would rather say that they have a control plane formed like this. I would rather use the red color. So the red dotted line is the control plane through which you have communication. You have again a secondary control data, which is like a side-to-side communication. So this is a two-tier architecture in very we will speak about three-tier architecture. So three-tier architecture is also used also in the ISP environment or the managed services environment, where you have these two entities or appliances in an existence, but application or control plane established. Then anything which is coming from anyone who want to, communicate or reach from Delhi to Bangalore one can reach. Of course, if there's a routing been done. So this is a three-tier architecture. So you will have control plane and management plane over here, but that will be pushed. And from regional POP using the secure channel, which is again an IPsec tunnel, the set of configurations will be pushed. Last mile, which is a CPE or a VM running. Okay. Any comment so far?
No, beginning to understand.
So tier 1 is basically where management and control plane are at same place, correct?
Sorry, can you repeat your question, Sumit?
Tier 1 is like where management and control plane are at same place, you said, right?
This is tower 1. This is what you're calling as tower 1?
No, tier 1. This is tier 1 topology, right? Where
Tier
control
1.
plane and management plane are both are at same place.
See, the way the software has been defined by different vendors, this is what I'm explaining. So it's not a tier 1 topology or a tier 1 technology. Tier 1 technology is an ISP, is a service provider grade technology where you have tier 1 service provider architecture.
Okay.
This is totally different. You have your jargon maybe is incorrect or is not apt to it, but yes, the one which I'm pointing right now will have the complete understanding about the control plane and the management plane. So this from the admin will actually create a control plane so that SD-WAN network or SD-WAN fabric or SD-WAN environment, that is your control plane, and that will again be pushed by the orchestrator to regional POPs, or if it's a two-tier architecture, as a two-stage architecture, it will be directly pushed from the orchestrator to the appliance.
Sir, orchestrator is nothing but a virtual machine, right?
It is indeed a virtual machine. See, orchestrator or Versa director or controller whatever the name jargons you will create it, it's again a virtual instance being created, managed by a company's network administrator or network architectures uh, based on their need to achieve things out of it. For example, let's say let's just talk about two-tier architecture for a second, because this is what I will be speaking about more, because I can show that thing more in real-time aspects. So let's say I have a two-tier architecture. I want to bring up a Delhi site and a Bangalore site where I want to achieve a couple of things. A, any host on the southbound, when I say southbound on the LAN side, northbound is on the LAN side. Anything which is on the southbound will can do two things. A, it can speak side to side, and B, it can go to the internet. That's the basic requirement on a very high level everybody wants to achieve. So in order to get onto the internet, what they want is they want a secured connection. They want a security. So there are two things which we can do. We can do a NAT over here. We can create a zone-based firewall over here. We can create a DPI over here to inspect on certain levels, or with a smart or next-gen firewall, application-based firewall from here. Also, those who don't want, also there are few vendors through which such aspects are cannot be achieved, can be a bug, can be yet to be, can be a scenario where there are bugs and the application, the code is not working, can be a scenario where they are yet to deliver that feature. So in that case, what you can do from the solution standpoint, you can take an internet line, and then get yourself connected to a secured point. It can be a Zscaler, can be any kind of checkpoint cloud, any cloud solution technology. I'm just using them. So I'm not promoting anyone. So just don't think like that. So you can just terminate the entire internet traffic onto that, and then they will screen it, and they will make sure that your network is secured on that particular line, and you'll not be you'll be able to get onto internet, and you'll be able to govern the sites to be visited or the traffic, and then again on top of it, there will not be any breach with respect to their privacy policies. To the lease line.
Sir, for security purpose, we need a firewall, or SD-WAN can do all that things.
I just said that there are certain vendors who provide next generation firewall capabilities in the software itself. But again, Vivek, think for a second. If you are running a network, you have 20 odd requirements from the network security standpoint, which are mandatory. There are 40 total, out of which 20 is like, if those 20 requirements are not there, you will not choose it because it does not match your basic or mandatory needs. 20, the remaining 20, if you have a workaround, you will live with it, right? So it's everyone's individual need. There are certain features been offered. If it makes sense to you, if it falls into your need, you may look into that vendor, right? Or if it doesn't work it out, then of course, your call. You want to spend furthermore, put a firewall in front of it. Okay. Now, another thing which is coming up in the SD-WAN era is compression and encryption. So these are the two main hot selling cakes which companies are using it for their POCs. That if there is a two-tier architecture, so technically they just need to spin up an orchestrator or a Versa director with certain specifications. When I say specification, the hardware specs, to manage a certain amount of SD-WAN network. When I say certain amount of SD-WAN network, which means how many sites they want to bring up, they want to govern, they want to manage using this particular instance. And then if it's a two-tier, they can just use their private network or a public network with certain securities, maybe on the firewall here and then connect it to internet, or if at all it's a, let's say if it's a lease line, then it's just a lease line connected. Oh, obviously they will have a firewall over here and then connected over here to this to the POP and then getting a reachability done. So this is what everybody is talking about. This is how they are saving the money. So they just run a central governing entity. They just spin a central governing entity to manage a set of network. Doesn't matter it's a two-tier or two-stage or three-stage architecture. They can get their basic mandatory requirements achieved out of it. So let's say it's a two-tier architecture. I have a private lease line. So private lease line, you will speak, it's just a CEP communication over here. So you will have an IP given by the service provider for a private network, and the moment it enters, it has L3 VPN or L2 VPN configured at the back end, and then you have a reachability. And then once you have a public IP, again the ISP manage their own private, manage the the public network or the public IPv4 address range route table, we call it, and global route table or INET 0 table, whatever we call it. So that you have a routing to reach from Delhi to service provider and service provider to Y, which is Bangalore. This is how you're going to do. And coming to the implementation part and non-SD-WAN communication part. Syed, that was your question, right?
Yeah, Nitin.
Yeah. So let me say it in this way. When there are two scenarios to it, you have a site over here. Okay, let's bring up a new site. Okay. Make it crystal. So you have a POP location over here and you have a site over here, let's say A, Mumbai. Okay. There are two scenarios. Either you take an IP VPN circuit or IP access circuit. When I say IP VPN, it's an MPLS lease line. When I say IP access, it's an internet link provided by a service provider with certain agreed parameters. Again, that comes over the cost. So let's just take this black link as a VPN line or an MPLS line. And this is provided by a service provider, and then you need to reach a particular DMZ zone or a DC, which is again catered by either a same service provider or a different service provider. So what will happen is, from this SD-WAN site A, you will either speak to a regional POP if it's a three-tier or three-stage architecture. From that regional POP, you will have a routing to the using the shortest path to the next hop or the nearest POP location to the DC, and that's how you'll reach DC. Just think of L2 VPN or L3 VPN. That's one way. Let's say it's a two-stage architecture. Okay, and you want to reach to the DC, and this is a private lease line. So if the private service provider, then you will take a services stating that when I take, then you will negotiate with your service provider stating that my requirement is to reach my own network as well, and I need public addresses from you. So what will happen is, in this VRF over the internet circuit, you will achieve two things. Whatever the least specific subnet routing is there, that will be used for internet entry. But if you have to reach your particular DCs or your private network or your DC line or your DC, in that VRF itself, you have the routing to reach over there. That's the job of the service provider. Did you get my point?
Yes, Nitin.
Let's go to the topology now. Let's go to the topology.
Sure, thank you.
So this is the topology I have. Okay. So this is my non-SD-WAN site, which is my network. When I say non-SD-WAN, which means I'm just running a Cisco or a Vita or a Juniper or a Arista or any other vendor, or maybe Nokia. I'm running anything on the Nokia, and then I have hosts on the LAN side. Just a legacy architecture. I hope everybody understands what I'm talking about. So if I have a reachability from core 2 to R10, and that has been advertised over the network using maybe L3 VPN or IBGP, and then all the circuits have EBGP connection, then you have a reachability, isn't it, Sayed? Am I correct?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So if let's say I have this indoor site and I want to hit to internet, it will say, okay, and this is my, what do you call that? LAN host. I am using a Ubuntu server. And if I want to, let's say, okay, I'll just pull it up. I haven't configured this ETH3 circuit, which is highlighted right now. I'll try and do it in a bit. So if I want to hit to internet, what I can do is I can run a traffic which is not exactly site to site traffic. Be it site, when I say site to site, you can call it you can call it SD-WAN to SD-WAN traffic or SD-WAN to non-SD-WAN traffic, because for a service provider or for an enterprise, that is still again a site for you. So technically what will happen is I will see that whatever my traffic is there on this host, it has a gateway which is its next stop, that is the LAN side of this indoor site, and then it has just one single WAN circuit going out. So which means anything and everything will be pushed out through the site, through that circuit, to be more specific. And if I need to reach internet, then I have taken the services from my service provider, stating that anything I need to go, I'm just going to use this link. So the service provider has provided us, provided routing, that anything which is least specific dropped into that particular VRF, take this default route and then get out to the nearest POP location for the internet services. Make sense, Sayed?
Yeah, Nitin.
So if you see, I just have a default route.
Nitin, this is Tarun.
Hi, Tarun.
Yeah. So, but we can do a local exit as well for internet services. Right?
Why not? But local exit is to what?
I mean,
what do you mean by local exit? You will be just you will ask your ISP to let you reach the destination address. Am I correct?
No, I mean anything in public. Anything in public. I mean, why we have to send all the traffic to our hub or corporate office, for example?
Okay. In this current scenario, I am not talking about any hub. I'm just doing what you just said. I'm just breaking out locally right now. When I say breakout locally means I want to hit internet. So if I not want to show you the flow of Indore, okay, Indore is not listed over here, so no problem. So Bangalore, Bangalore it is. So if I need to show you the flow, you'll see the flow of abc.com just passing out through my next stop, which is my WAN interface. That's it. So it's a breakout.
Go to the default gateway would be the ISP.
Yes. HTTPS, that's your site. Sorry, let's not use old flow. Let's see latest flow. Okay, let's open YouTube. Can you see? It's breaking out to the public. Tarun, did I answer your point? Okay. So thanks for bringing that point, Tarun. I'll pick that thing later. That's again a design thing. So now what I was talking about is, so if I if I ask, being a host node 16, if I want to hit internet, what will happen is my next stop is my CE box, aka SD-WAN box, which has a single exit point, and as I have what I have done over here as a configuration is anything which is least specific, throw it to the internet. I don't want it. Whatever is most specific, it can be an SD-WAN side, it can be non-SD-WAN side. I have a specific route to it, and again, to reach that, my next stop would be my provider edge point, which is my PE. This is where my next stop would be terminated, and from here the routing will happen. So anything which is on internet, again it will hit to the PE1, and then it will go to the circuit or the internet, or maybe the exit point where the routing is the nearest router which has that next hop IP to reach the destination server. And if I need to reach somewhere on which is a legacy network, let's say R10 is a legacy network, aka non-SD-WAN site, which I would say it's a wired appliance, which you can use as a CE box anywhere. I can just configure a EBGP over here and then get the routing done, and once it has a route, you can reach till this box. You can ping from here to this point. Sorry. Yeah, you can ping from node 16 to R10, and if you have the routing done till VPC, which is currently defined as a host on the non-SD-WAN side, node 16 can reach VPC. So this is what you can achieve out of it. And Tarun, your point with respect to why it needs to reach the hub. It totally depends on your design, man. There are certain requirements where you don't want a site to break out locally due to security aspects, due to some security threats, vulnerability threats, or you don't have an insight to govern that site, what kind of traffic is going on, what kind of traffic has been surfing out in and out through that, and you want to monitor it due to CISO policies or ISO policies. So if you want to centralize your governing network, or if you want to centralize your traffic to be governed on a single point of in and out, then you can make a hub and spoke topology. So that means I can make a Ontario as my hub, and what will happen is whatever my traffic is there on Zurich or in Bangalore, it will first reach to my hub, which is my. So let me rephrase. If I need to reach internet site, which is a least specific network for me, first it will try and reach to the next mile to reach my hub, and from the hub I have the configuration to reach to a provider edge point through which I can get the internet services. So I hope I tried and answer your point, Tarun.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks. Okay, so where were we? Yeah. So yeah, I hope I did answer your point with respect to legacy, and I've shown you the topology that makes sense to you as well.
Yeah.
Now, again, coming to the next aspect or next element, why we need it? What else? I mean, we can use a simple routing to get it done. So yeah, you can do it. But again, I said you have multiple costs over here defined. So if you take a vendor box, I mean, those who have a bit, I am not disrespecting anyone. I'm not trying to, with this statement, I'm not trying to say that, you don't know anything about networks. But it's just that I've been to certain phases of my career and I've seen those things. So I'm just using that experience, I'm addressing that point. So there are certain costs been involved when you buy a product, and you have to incur some cost to manage it for a due course of time. That's its shell life, and then you have to incur cost with respect to the licenses to achieve a certain requirement to be delivered or to be achieved out of a particular appliance which needs to be installed. on a particular site. For let's say if I use SD-WAN, what I can do is I don't need a lease line, which means I can straight ahead reduce the cost. I can use a single internet circuit with 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 few static addresses or public addresses at a lower cost. It is a cost, but way lesser than a lease line, and then you can secure your network using IPsec encryption and IPsec UDP, which is a patent encryption, uh, and then you can communicate your site. You can get your site-to-site communication established, uh, and if at all I have if I have a DMZ zone here, or if I have like web services or web servers or any FTP servers here, so the hosts over here can actually go and get it done. Now, the second thing which I spoke about is encryption as well as compression. So there are a couple of vendors like Ariaka is there, so as Silver Peak, and I think Versa is also there. Cisco is also there, but I have not seen them. I mean, I couldn't test their efficiency. So what they can do is they can use the TCP. They can use a TCP in a different way to compress a particular size of data into smaller chunks, and using the fingerprinting mechanism, they can actually use a lower bandwidth circuit to achieve a higher rate of services required. For example, let's say Delhi and Bangalore, if I need to, I need 10 Mbps circuit to achieve certain requirements of my day-to-day business activity, and I don't want to spend 10 Mbps, and I just take an encryption services or fingerprinting services, aka compression services. I can reduce the cost to maybe like 30% to 50%. So maybe I don't need to go for a 10 Mbps circuit with certain guaranteed parameters. I can fulfill the same need with just a 5 Mbps circuit, which again brings down this cost. So that's called a compression. And deduplication or compression and fingerprinting, these are the new jargons or technologies and which comes under the SD-WAN flag. There are vendors who are using dedicated hardware on their POP locations to achieve or to provide such services. There are vendors who are using software-based technology and they have incorporated that particular segment of code in their OVA or in their release, which will be provided in a single instance. So let's say let's say if I need a compressor, I'll use this name. This is Ariaka predominantly. Ariaka use their compressors on the POP locations. So once the CE speaks to the PE, it actually goes to the compressor, compresses the data, and hits to the POP, which is a PE, and then hits to the next mile, which is towards the destination. They do have their own POP on the other side, which decompresses it, de-encrypts it, and then send it to the destination. So this is how the Ariaka works, and Silver Peak does the same job, but it has been emulgated or incorporated in the same code itself. So you don't need another hardware or don't need a hardware services for that. You don't need a POP services of the provider, and you can achieve that thing using a simple INET circuit line. This is one thing. And then governance, let's say you can govern your you can govern your IPsec tunnels, you can govern your govern your license management, you can govern anything which goes down, doesn't matter what alarm it is. You can provide DNS services, BGP services, hub and spoke architecture, or just full mesh architecture. You can run reports, you can check your underlay tunnels, overlay tunnels. You can configure IP SLAs to monitor the circuit health or circuit basic requirements. Let's say if there is a circuit which has a bit of jitter or which has a latency, then what the IP SLA will do? It will migrate a certain amount of traffic to some other circuit if at all it's been defined. So these are the certain aspects which are added on top of it by the SD-WAN vendors and been given as just a software package, which comes up with the annual cost and the license, which includes the licenses, and then you can run it for over the network. So technically, you're just buying a license, an annual cost license, which includes all the licenses inbuilt and the functions inbuilt. When I say BGP, OSPF, which means you got some routing. When I say IPsec, IPsec UDP, you have some security. When I say IPSLA, it's basically for your monitoring. When you say look at tunnels, that means how you want your underlay and overlay to be connected. When I say template, which means you want a certain scripts to be run on a particular site to achieve certain requirements. So you have a set of configuration rules configured in a particular template. So you have like template specific to a particular need or towards a site. So these are the aspects which you can achieve using a single control plane, a single orchestrator, or single plane or single UI to get the job done. Okay, so we are almost end of this session. Manish, can we take another 15? Like, can we take a Q&A, or shall we close it right now?
Yeah, it's your own choice. You can, that is your platform.
Okay, no, I'm asking. So give me, please raise your voice who wish to drop and cannot and don't have further 15 minutes, because this will be last 15 minutes for Q&A, and that will be the end of the session. Anyone who wants to drop? Cool. All right. Any questions? I'm happy to answer. Go ahead. Shoot.
Sir, is it compulsory required for means separate device for SD-WAN?
No, not necessarily. If let's say, what's your name? Sorry, what's your name?
Vivek Gupta.
Vivek. Simple aspect. If you get a server acting as a CE and doing other jobs, still that's good enough. It's up to your need. There are several customers or several enterprises who just use a server and a firewall, or just a server with internet security services, and they are getting the job done. That's it. So it's again a design question, and these are the flavors with which you can achieve those. So the answer is not necessarily you don't need a dedicated hardware for it. If you have a server and you know how to secure your traffic, you can get it done through a server.
In that firewall, there is the option SD-WAN. So what kind of function means it is doing?
In that firewall, in which firewall?
Yes, any firewall. If you take FortiGate, having a SD-WAN function means SD-WAN option. So what kind of means things done with SD-WAN? It is doing like a load balancing thing or else?
एक्चुअली विवेक यार जो फायरवॉल हमारा होता है ना वो SD-WAN सपोर्ट करता है, ठीक है। मतलब ये कि जो SD-WAN का जो इन्होंने जो डायग्राम में जो हमें बताया था, जो सेंटर पॉइंट या CPU जो भी बता रहे थे, उसके आगे क्या लगा रहता है? फायरवॉल, ठीक है। उसके आगे फायरवॉल लगा रहता है, देन वो ISP से कनेक्टेड होता है। तो फायरवॉल का सिर्फ इतना सा रोल है, बस इतना सही है। फायरवॉल कोई सा भी हो सकता है, चेक पॉइंट, फोर्टीगेट, जो भी आपके वेंडर्स हैं जितने भी, पॉलो अल्टो भी हो सकता है। तो हमारे जितने ही फायरवॉल्स हैं वो सब SD-WAN को सपोर्ट करते हैं, ठीक है। तो फायरवॉल का सिर्फ इतना सा ही रोल है, बट पीछे जो टेक्नोलॉजी जो रन हो रही है SD-WAN की, वो सारा तो अभी हमने देखा ही था इस सेशन में। हाँ, तो उसका लोड बैलेंसर तो अलग आते हैं। फायरवॉल का काम लोड बैलेंसिंग करना नहीं होता, ठीक है जी। लोड बैलेंसिंग के लिए F5 का लोड बैलेंसर आता है, ऐसे और भी वेंडर्स हैं उनके भी लोड बैलेंसर्स आते हैं। ठीक है।
करेक्ट। विवेक देख यार, एक फायरवॉल जो होती है ना, वो अपना फायरवॉल का काम करती है। उसके आगे या उसके पीछे हेयर पिन करके तुम एक प्रोडक्ट लगा सकते हो। ये सर्वर भी हो सकता है, छोटा हो बड़ा हो, सर्वर डजंट मैटर। एक हार्डवेयर भी ला सकते हो तुम, जो अगेन छोटा सर्वर ही समझ लो। उसके अंदर कुछ कोई ऐसा कुछ नहीं है। लेट्स मी से कि तू बाहर से आके डेल का, नहीं तो तू एक मार्केट से जाके एक बिल्ट इन सीपीयू ले आ, ठीक है, और उसके अंदर उसके अंदर तुम हाइपरवाइजर रन कर लोगे ना, तो वो भी सर्वर की तरह एक्ट करेगा, और उसके ऊपर x86 एनवायरनमेंट कंपैटिबल होना चाहिए। उस पर यही सॉफ्टवेयर रन करके तू उसको एज ए सीपी बना सकता है, कोई बड़ी चीज नहीं है। तो तेरे को
Okay,
लाइसेंस
now
खरीदने की जरूरत
understood.
नहीं पड़ गया। तू बाहर से जाके
Understood.
इंटेल जियोन का कोई भी गोल्ड का कुछ भी, सिल्वर या प्लैटिनम कुछ भी ले चल, पुराना ले आ, E4 रेंज ले आ, और वो कितना 4484 होस्ट ला के, या 8 GB की रैम 256 SSD हो, उसी को तुम एक हाइपरवाइजर लगा सॉफ्टवेयर बना दो, सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल कर दो लाइनक्स एनवायरनमेंट पे, तुम्हारा एसीपी बन गया।
Right.
ठीक है।
Yes.
जो
Thank you.
कैपेबिलिटी होती है वो हार्डवेयर की कैपेबिलिटी होती है। यहाँ पे एक छोटा सा पॉइंट ऐड करूँ, अगर जो सिस्टम तुम ला रहे हो उसमें जो ईथ सर्किट है, इंटरनेट अडाप्टर है, उसकी कैपेबिलिटी अगर है कि वो एक राउटर की तरह अचीव कर पाए चीजें यूजिंग द हाइपरवाइजर और हाइपरवाइजर एनवायरनमेंट, then yes, it can be used as a CPE. स्केलिंग के ऊपर मैं क्वेश्चन नहीं कर पाऊंगा कि कितना एकदम एग्जैक्ट स्केल नंबर्स आएंगे कि नहीं आएंगे, क्योंकि हर एक हार्डवेयर का, एक कंप्यूटर का एक अपना स्केल कैपेसिटी होता है कि कितना वो थ्रूपुट दे सकता है। उसके ऊपर मैंने क्वेश्चन का वो कहता है, उसके ऊपर मैं कुछ टिप्पणी नहीं कर पाऊंगा। समझ गए? बाकी ये काम अचीव हो सकता है। समझ गए?
Okay, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Next question, guys.
Guys, any question? If you don't have any question, then we are going to close this meeting for the day.
Yeah, Manish, because I get see again this video to understand more. Yeah, so I would see that recording.
Okay.
I will understand it more in depth.
Right, for sure. So, all right, guys. If you have any other questions, you can drop me on my group, right? WhatsApp group or Telegram group. You can drop your all questions to that group, and we will try our best to solve your answers, right? So that's all for the day from our end, right? So let's end this meeting and see you in the next free session, right? Maybe on next Sunday.
Sure.
Okay, Nitin, then.
Thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Manish.
Thanks.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye.